Okay, so this one also took a good 30 minutes or so. So between the up, mid, low, and the jaws, you're going to expect to wait anywhere from an hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours. So let me take a look at this. This is not the best result. Just some weight painting needs to be done so that the entire eye and some of the bottom eyelid goes with it. So this is definitely something that needs to be weight painted. The central one, let me do some scaling. Yeah, they're in a good zone, but it's just they're not weighted properly. And also for something like this, I'd probably take the weighting of the middle one away from the ear, minimize how much weighting is happening on the back here. For this one, the low one, I can't believe it added the body. I don't know why it would do that, but I guess that's also something I'm going to have to go and weight paint. And this is probably why it took forever. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. So this would also have to be weight painted, fixed. Make sure all this stuff is still working. Yeah, I just remembered it's a multi-cluster, so it's sitting on top. Yeah, so that weighting will definitely have to be fixed. So we have 2 more and then we can finish, and I can rest easy knowing that it's just time to fix this stuff. So I'll go with the phonemes build. It was pretty easy. I'm sure it's not the best. Not bad. Okay, waiting. But I think because this character's mouth is open, it's confused. I would have to close the jaw to see how well these are working. Yeah, as long as they're making mouth shapes, and with me as an animator, I'm not going to be too reliant on too many of these. That looks like too many compared to what I'm used to. I think you would need about 6 or 7 of these to be able to make believable speech, and all the important ones are here, so that's what's important. But yeah, we'll test with the mouth closed, when the jaw is closed, to see how these shapes are working. But right now, as far as the weighting is concerned, they look pretty nice. So let's get the motions, and that's also done. Let me see. Yeah, it's having a difficult time with this happy expression. The big issue with this happy expression is how wide her head is. So to get a full smile, you'll have to go all the way over here. And to get there, you have to really clean up the weights and make sure that this skin is wrapping around the gum correctly. So the smile in particular is going to be a big fix. And all things that rely on the smile are going to be a big fix. Let me look at angry. Yeah, these are interesting. They're all nice. Angry is good. If you want to move the dial to its maximum faster, you hold down shift and middle mouse drag, by the way. But it's a nice soft limit. Oh yeah, this stuff is nice. Fear. Yeah, I really believe that after the weights are cleaned up, I'm going to be really impressed with the results. Okay, so is that interesting? So now it's time to finish. And so we get the full UI. Okay, so that's it. Fully functional face rig. Very excited that we got this far, because this is really the point where I feel a lot more comfortable and I can trust Advanced Skeleton now completely, because it took me through the entire process of getting a solid rig. The foundation is complete, And everything beyond here will be up to me to add all the customizations to make this work. But fundamentally, I have something that is working, and it went through the entire face build process, gave me everything I needed. Let me play around with these just to see what this stuff is going to look like. Yeah, that forehead definitely needs to be resolved. Okay. And let me see these controls. Okay, these are the eyes. Yeah, this is very impressive. I'm really excited about this. Look at this. What's that? Okay, this is the cheek ballooning. Yeah, that needs to be fixed heavily. And okay, this is nose stuff. Yeah, some of this stuff really has to be moved around. This would be, yeah, the mouth stuff. Okay, pretty nice. This, okay, this is the jaw. Yeah, I did a good job. I have to go in that mouth and really see what it's done. Oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah, very cool. All right, so that's the basic rig. Now, what I'm going to do next is the same thing I did for the tail when we were done with it. And I'm going to add a deltamush deformer from the face menu. As soon as I add it, I'm going to disable it because I don't want it to be on while I'm fixing the weights. But I do want to add it because Advanced Skeleton does it the right way by making sure that the deltamush deformer doesn't impact the open edges. And I hope it does it this time around. So let me just take a look. All right, so I'm going to create a deltamush deformer over here from the face menu. So it's put it somewhere right there. And immediately, if I was to test it out, let me try some things. If I was to open the jaw, okay, this is the deltamush deformer. Move it to the side. If I select the skin, let me make sure the geometry is selectable, and I disable the deltamush deformer. Yeah, there's a slight change. Because I have enough topology, it doesn't look like I had a bad distribution to begin with, but I'm sure it's fixed a lot of things. This is at 0. It looks a little negligible, to be honest, but I'm sure it's fixed a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's done some pretty good things over there. Yeah, so that's it for the face fitting and building. In the next set of lessons, I'm going to have a laundry list of things, and we're going to go down the laundry list and fix all the issues with the face rig and all the issues that have probably occurred because of the new weighting. I suspect if I move the head back now, yeah, there's a lot of things that will have to be fixed now on the head, because that's definitely wrong. It's changed the weighting of that. I'm gonna have to fix that. Probably gonna have to go to the jaw, and let me see what that looks like. Yeah, there's some really weird things going on here that would have to be fixed. Some weird weighting. And another thing I should take a look at is the multi-clusters. That was a big highlight here. So if I click on skin clusters, yeah, there they are, all the multi-clusters. Let me go show viewport, disable selection highlighting, and I probably want to go shading, turn off wireframe unshaded. and just to click through and see this stuff. Okay, so there's the weighting. Yeah, that's a lot less than I expected, but I'll take it. And another thing I want to see is if I turn on this, okay, it's on. All right, that's good. I just want to make sure this deltamush deformer is off for now. We'll activate it again, but I need it to stay off. It's still doing some sharing. It didn't overdo the multi-skin clusters. I thought it would be significantly more, but I'll take what it has. This is interesting. All these are just for the eyes. That's a lot of skinning to play around with. So yeah, I'm gonna have to really go through this and see. That's the jaw. And this is something that the multi-skin cluster does. It kind of creates this dynamic, I don't know if this is a dynamic joint, but it creates a parent joint that it assigns everything else to, and then the one you're interested in, the one that's isolated, gets the weighting it's supposed to control. But in order for it to work, it needs to take everything else and assign it to a sort of like a master joint. So you're going to see this multi-skin cluster node on all of them, I think. All right, so I turned on her textures, and I'm going to run the animation tester on the face just so we have an initial test to compare to after all the fixes are done. So I'm going to open the animation tester, come over here, and run a test with a range of motion for the face. So I'm going to go apply. Okay, and it's extended the timeline for me, so let's take a look. Yeah, cool, really cool. So, good starting point to do a whole bunch of fixing. This is really exciting. I can't wait to fix this and get everything working. The eyes are doing really well. Most of the lids and some of the brows. Mouth is a mess and everything is. All right, so that's the little test. So I will see you guys in the next lesson, where I'll show up with a laundry list of issues we have to troubleshoot. More than likely going to start with fixing all the skinning, and we'll move on from there. Let me turn on the deltamush deformer and see. Yeah, it does do a great deal of fixing, but you definitely don't want to count on just that. But yeah, after we've done all the weighting fixes and it comes back on, it's just going to refine all the skinning and it's going to look really cool. All right, so that's it with the deltamush deformer turned back on. And I'll see you guys in the next lesson.